It's sweating time, man. Listen, there's nothing that I could say that's going to make the next few hours or however many hours go fast, but your manager had a rough night, Sal. Your manager had a rough night in a season in which he's really distinguished himself from the get-go. You know, the way he's dealt with adversity and the way they've maximized this roster. Mendoza was off last night. Listen, you've been through it. You watched the game. Did you think you should have pulled Minaya? Probably not. Do you want to see Diaz in the 8th inning? Yes. I even said this. If this was a first guess, not that it killed him, although we could have pinch run for him. I would have started Winker myself over Martinez. But, here you are. And now you give the baseball to somebody that I'm not sure how much you trust fully Quintana. Not as much as Minaya. And the season's hanging by a thread. But I'm still confident in the Mets tonight. Yeah. I actually have a decent amount of confidence in the Mets tonight.
Right now, I don't know what to think other than I'm ticked off still about last night. And yesterday, the hero, 2 days ago, the hero was Carlos Mendoza, and we talked about how smart they are in the game plan.
Yep.
It wasn't his fault, and we had a lot to get to, and we'll break it down. There's different layers or levels of blame to go around for last night's performance. But we said yesterday, going into the game, I was like, all right, what do you think the Mets are going to get or need from Minaya? And you said like 5 2/3, something like that.
That's exactly what I said.
And I was like, whoa, no. They need 7 innings. The fact that they took him out after 5 innings, this is what drives me nuts. And I thought Mendoza was a better balance than this. This, to me, last night was a data applicator type game where you get your starter out after 5, your ace starter out after 5. Like, he's on normal rest. He was looking pretty good. Let him go another inning. The reason why you let him go another inning is because the odds are the more arms you have to use, the more likely you're going to get beat at some point with one of those arms. So once Minaya was out after 5th, I knew that they were in trouble and knew the offense needed to get going because there's no way that one-run lead was going to hold up. And Minaya and Mendoza basically just stuck to the plan. All right, let's go with Reed Garrett here. Check. Let's go with Stanek here. Check. Let's go with Maton here. And obviously he didn't get the job done. Well, what'd you think was going to happen? At some point, whether it was Reed Garrett, whether it was Stanek or Maton or eventually Diaz, they were going to blow the game. You have to lessen your opportunities out of the bullpen. Stick with your best pitcher. Manaya's been their best pitcher. How do you justify taking him out in a postseason game where I thought the Mets had to win that game, take him out to 5 innings?
And especially what happened the previous night with Severino, where he let Severino stretch it out and he was rewarded with 6 extra outs. It's the exact opposite.
Right. 86 pitches, he's calling them.
Yeah, I mean, Minaya, he said post-game that he was feeling good. The radar guns, he was throwing hard. I texted you guys last night. He was, every time I looked up, 95. I'm like,
looks
wow.
nasty all of a sudden.
Minaya for
throws
most
a heavy ball now.
The problem now is God, I don't love Quintana. I don't. I'm not saying that he's not up to the challenge. I'm not saying that. But you let a team that is feisty, that is fast, that is seemingly feeds on energy like the Milwaukee Brewers do, catching the baseball. If you notice, as that game progressed, they started to catch the baseball more and more. Really, the first 5 innings, the Mets looked like the Brewers, going from first to third.
Yeah, they were out-brewing the Brewers,
They were. Pete, who suddenly is, Keith Hernandez over at first base, he can't hit. I know we'll get to him. Yeah. He's picking balls left and right. And the Mets, I thought they had a look about them last night where, man, oh man, you start. I know where your head was going. You start, not that you took it for granted, but you're feeling good. The way that game's unfolding, the way Minaya looked, the way the Mets have looked so far, in this series in the last couple of weeks, the 3 out of 4 against Philly, everything they did to get to this point, winning against the Braves, all that stuff. You get the sense like, all right, guys, now you got your ace on the hill, and he might not have his A+ game, but he's got his B+ game, and that's going to be good enough. And then he get dinged for a home run, then he get dinged for another, then he get dinged for another. There was definitely some mismanagement. There's no doubt about this, but now it's big boy time. Yeah. There's nothing to cry about. I know you're not crying. I know you're not, but you just got to go win a game. Win the game. That's it.
The problem is they had a great opportunity to do so last night and bury this team, and now you give the Brewers back all the momentum. I wanted to throw my phone through the window last night when Maton gave up that home run. That's how angry I was. And you know why? Because I knew it was coming. You could just feel any of us watching that game knew that the 3-2 lead wasn't going to be enough, and they kept just trotting along like, okay, well, we use this guy, and then Maton. I'll be honest with you, I don't even have a problem with going to Maton there. I thought about about Diaz in the 8th inning, but I thought Mendoza had a good answer afterwards saying, look, either way, it's either 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. Like, so we're going to save Diaz for the 9th inning.
But I don't think that's a good answer because 1, 2, 3 for Milwaukee is very different than 4, 5, 6 for Milwaukee.
I didn't have a problem with Maton there. Now, you want to talk about his usage? I had a problem with the way that they pulled Minaya from the game early, and they're asking a lot of a bullpen that isn't good. I don't know how the Mets have gotten to this point with that bullpen. When Phil Maton is your second best guy, you got Buto, who I love, and probably my most trusted arm in the bullpen outside of Edwin Diaz, but he's limited because he's a starter and he doesn't recover as well the next day. So you use him for 2 innings. Then you
what about Peterson?
Yeah,
I
mean, Peterson's going to be starting game 1. Like, they have all this plan. Yeah, I know.
You could have used him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone to him in that spot either. I'm fine with Maton. I'm just saying that he was too quick. Mendy was too quick to get to that bullpen early, which then the trickle-down effect left them with Phil Maton and really no answer.
I know.
I don't have a problem with him starting the inning, but you certainly can make a case for Mendoza's supposed to know he doesn't have it.
He didn't.
Let me get him out. The game was tied. The game was still tied. It was annoying enough.
Yep.
You didn't have to let them get the 2-run lead there.
You could tell his cutter was flat. His curveball wasn't moving. You know what happened? Last night, I've got a comparison for you, an analogy. Last night, the Mets were the way Mendoza handled the game. And I love Mendoza. Bullish long-term, big picture, but he had a rough night.
Right.
He had a rough night. And listen, when you get to this point, and it's October, just like Torrey and Girardi and everybody else, Billy Martin, Davey Johnson, when you make a mistake in October, it's amplified. Doesn't mean we don't think Mendoza's really good. He's been great, but he was bad last night for me. What happened with him, and we've all been here, you're in the casino, you hit on the wrong card, and you mess up the entire shoot. He hit on the wrong, until they have to, reshuffle the deck, and then you're probably screwed for the rest of the night. He hit on the wrong card by taking out Minaya, and the rest of the shoot, the rest of the deck was ruined for the night.
Bingo. And that to me is the problem and why I call him a data applicator. Like I've seen Boone, I've seen others do this, where they think it's going to play out a certain way. And then they just stick to that. And then when one thing goes off, the whole thing is blown up. You have to plan as if something is going to go wrong. And they didn't do that. Same thing with even the defensive replacements. I talked yesterday about how they have every avenue covered. Well, in a one-run game, do you think it's a good idea to take Mark Vientos out of that game? No, it's not a good idea. The reason why he did it was because he's thinking, okay, well, we got the one-run lead. Time to get the defense in there and shore it up. However, that's if everything goes according to plan, that would work. But it's not always going to go according to plan. So stick with your gut. I didn't think Mendoza used the gut. I thought he was too formulaic last night, and I think that came back to bite him. I didn't have a major problem with Winker not starting, although I did think it was a little odd.
Like that.
Yeah, the energy and emotion that Winker showed the day
triple,
before.
I mean, his old team, he rifles one down the line. He's a much better athlete than Martinez. I thought Winker should have started.
Yeah, and he didn't, obviously, so Martinez is in there. That was an issue. I didn't have a major issue with some of those things. My issue was that Mendoza managed the game according to the blueprint as if nothing was going to change. And the gut feel, I guarantee you, every Met fan alive watching that game last night knew that the 3-2 lead was not going to hold up. You knew it. But yet Mendoza managed as if that was going to be the case. I'll go with Garrett here. I'll go with Stanek here. I'm going to go with Maton here. I'm going to put my defensive guys in, get to Diaz. Like, it was more hope and the pre-planning than actually watching the game and getting a feel for
I understand. I know Met fans obviously want to jump in here. We'll just start banging these calls here. And there's no guarantee. Listen, Diaz, who threw, 26 on Sunday, 40 on Monday. We can sit here and say that and I believe this, going to Diaz, because at least if you go down with Diaz in the 8th against the top of the order and they score, you can at least live with that. It's more justifiable in your own minds because he's your best pitcher out of the bullpen. That's basic stuff. But there's no guarantee. He doesn't hang a couple of sliders flat because he hasn't looked great lately either.
Here's the problem.
But you got to make the move.
Here's the one problem with that, and we'll get to the calls here in a second. BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1019. If he goes to Diaz in the 8th, he cannot use him in the 9th.
No, there's no chance he could use him in the 9th.
Not yesterday.
No,
he
not yesterday. No, I agree.
So, which means that let's just say that it was flipped, and he goes with Maton, and he blows it. What do you think people are going to be saying?
True, but I think it's, again, more justifiable when you're dealing with 4, 5, and 6. If you address strength on strength, you really take away the second guesses.
Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Joe is in Burlington, New Jersey. What's up, Joe? Hey, Joe.
Joe, what's happening, buddy?
Mickey is in Wolcott, Connecticut. What's up, Mickey?
What's up, guys? Thank you for taking my call on the WFAN, therapy line.
Yeah, right, really.
Wow, last night was something, man. Listen, my anger goes for 3 phases. Phase number 1, horrible umping last night on the plate. I mean, so many balls that were strikes. I mean, oh, my God. Second of all, get Mendoza's decision. I get it. I understand it, but I'm still so against it. And the minute he was throwing 75 meatballs down that
Which decision are you talking about? Well, Mickey, explain. Which decision?
When he took out the pitcher in the 7th going into the 8th, he should have kept him in. He should have kept him in.
I'm hearing a lot of that, Mickey, and thank you for the call. I'm hearing a lot of that, BT. Stanek, more Stanek. Like, come on now.
So you want to get more outs out of him?
That's not what you're lucky you got a clean inning out of Stanek.
I know. Well, he's been pretty good. I mean, that's lowest on my list of issues right there. I don't even know if that really makes the list of issues there.
Yeah, I'm not going to blame him for getting Stanek out after 1 inning. That's what you do.
No.
The issue is using multiple pitchers to get through a game. You're not going to get through clean with 4 different arms. It doesn't work like that.
Listen, the bottom line is this. You had a 1-run lead. Okay, you had your ace on the mound. You elected to take him out, and when he had south of 90 pitches, that's mistake number 1. And again, you could quibble with this, and there's no guarantee that it would have worked out favorably, but mistake number 2 is 1, 2, 3. Diaz locked and loaded. You didn't go to him. Those are 2 big mistakes.
Yeah, that's the problem. And by the way, if this were Peterson, Quintana, even Sevy, all right, you get him out after 5. Maybe he doesn't look as dominant. Get into the bullpen. But even with that, I'd still be like,
Yeah.
You needed. We talked about this before the game. They needed Minaya to go longer than 5 innings. You have to. Minimum, they needed 6 out of him. He's their best pitcher. And you're pulling him out after 86? That was, to me, all on Mendoza. That didn't make any sense. Jesse's in Westfield, New Jersey. What's up, Jesse?
How's it going? I got a few quips about the game last night, different from the pitching, but I think you have to pinch run for J.D. Martinez there. I think it was the 5th of the 6th inning. The next batter was a single. He goes first to third. And then also, Marte's on first, the next inning, nobody out. I think you bunt him over to second. I think the playoffs are a little different. You got to play some small ball. You got to get runners in scoring position because all you need right there is a run.
We were talking about the pinch run with Martinez before the show. Yeah, I would agree with that, too. I mean, you got to see, he can't move at all.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's part of the issue with J.D. Martinez. You basically hoping he's hitting one in a gap, or you want him to come up with guys on and he's going to produce, or you hope he's going to produce, or hit one over the fence. He hasn't done that.
I wouldn't play him tonight.
I honestly think J.D. Martinez is unplayable.
I wouldn't play him tonight.
In the spot in game 1, okay, you're going with a lefty reliever.
Sure.
That's where you use him.
Yeah.
You're going to go with your lefty reliever here, stick with him against Winker. I'm going to counter with J.D. Martinez in a spot with guys on.
Yeah.
That's the spot to do it. You're firing basically a pinch hitter, which J.D. Martinez is. He should not be getting 4 at-bats tonight. He should not be in there to start these games unless it's against a lefty. And even then, clogging up the bases, if he does get on it, he doesn't look very good. And he hasn't for a while, J.D. Martinez.
You nervous? I know you're nervous.
I'm still angry. I'm still in the anger phase. The caller said before about
still angry.
Yeah. And I've seen some people. Joe DeMeo, my buddy at SNY, is like, all right, last night. Today's a new day. No. You're
not there yet.
No. I'm still angry.
Good.
I still am angry about last night. It's a missed opportunity. Everybody else moves on. Everybody else with the 1-game-to-none lead was able to sweep, except the Mets. Why is that the case? So I'm still angry. I'm not ready. I'm now nervous, whatever. Like, I can't feel those feelings because of my anger.
Yeah,
now, eventually, maybe another hour or so, I'm getting it out of my system now.
All right.
Now, I'll start to get there and get excited about this, but I didn't want to deal with this.
You should be angry because you guys should be chilling right now, getting ready for the Phillies. You guys should have won the game. You guys should. Listen, if you come in here and you lose 7-1, it's okay. Take it on the chin, come back, and let's hopefully get the rubber matchup. You guys should have won last night.
Blowing a lead late like that, like it happens. By the way, it hasn't happened playing the Brewers since 1982.
I saw that stat.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
As soon as it flashed in the graphic, I'm like, God, will you stop? Yeah, like, the jinx thing. I know it's not real, but like, the situation was begging for it. And then they show, the Brewers have never come back in the postseason.
From the 7th inning on deficit since 1982. Yeah. 82.
Yeah. Cue up Phil Maton and his crappy breaking ball.
Cue up Michael Jackson Thriller. It's the last time it happened. 82.
It's a long time ago.
Oh, my God.
Frank is in White Plains. What's up, Frank?
Frankie.
Morning.
What's up, Frank?
Hello, Frank. Huh? Okay, Frank's not
All
ready.
right, Frank. Let's see what we got here. Victor is in Manhattan. What's up, Victor?
Guys, I'm still pissed off about last night. Mendoza, listen, you have to have Minaya go 6. You have to have him go 6. 86 pitches isn't enough. And then let's say when you bring in METS on, right? He gives up the home run, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see he has nothing. Even on the double play, the guy hit the ball hard. You have to get rid of him after 3 batters. You have to.
Yeah.
Because we can still win the game. No, we had Milwaukee dead last night. And then once, let's say you leave him in after 3 hitters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Adames gets the base hit. You have to take him out of that game. You have to. You can't let this team wake up. Now the Brewers are awake and they have momentum. We had them last night. It should have been over last night.
You're right, Victor. It should have been over last night, and that's why it's so frustrating. You're right, BT. Like a loss, hey, Milwaukee gets on top of Minaya. They get out to a 5-0 lead, 4-0 lead, whatever. They win the game 5-2,
That's
5-3.
different.
You deal with it. It sucks, but it's a loss. All right, go get them. When they had an opportunity last night and you blow it, that's what's infuriating. Now, the reason why he went to Reed Garrett in the 6th was because of the matchups. He didn't want the lefty Minaya facing, again, Adames, Sanchez, Hoskins. But to me, that's still an issue because now you're using, and I don't like Reed Garrett at all.
No, you always wail on him.
Yeah, but at least you have another arm. Like, let's say he has Reed Garrett available. Mayton blows the game.
Yep.
Gives up the tie, gives up a base hit. Now you can go to Reed Garrett. Like, do you love that idea? No, but at least, Mayton doesn't have it. Let me see if Reed Garrett can get us through this without giving up the lead.
Yep.
And he didn't. He was stuck with Mayton because everybody said, oh, get Mayton out of there. Who are you going to in that spot?
It's very hard, even though we make it easy. It's hard to... It's hard for us, mere mortals, to look at a TV screen and say, man, this guy really doesn't have it. Mayton didn't have it last night.
But Mendoza managed himself into a spot where
I know
he couldn't do anything.
Well, he still could have pulled him before he gave up the home run.
All right, but
second home run.
I'm saying for who? Right, that's why I'm saying if you had Reed
Peterson.
Garrett, yeah, but then again, Peterson. Now you're really screwing. First of all, you don't know how Peterson's going to be in that spot.
He's better than Mayton throwing 90 mile per hour.
But you're also now screwing up next game, the beyond that. So I know
I can't worry about the next series. I got to get the next out.
But it wasn't technically an elimination game. Like it'd be different tonight if you pulled that. Like all hands on deck tonight. You worry about the next series. If you get there, you got to do whatever you got to do to get a win. But that's why the trickle down effect. I knew that they were in big trouble when Minaya was out of the game. When they showed him going to the dugout, handshaking, I'm like, whoa.
I said the same thing. I'm like, why is he getting high fives here?
Yeah, this is the 5th inning. What's going on here?